Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. My name is Mike Doyle. I'm the mayor of Danville. That's what it says on the tag here that Joe Calabrigo makes me wear in case I get lost. The chief can find me and bring me home. I brought my tag team there with me this morning. Joe Calabrigo, our town manager, Ty Williams, the community development director, and of course our chief of police. And they're going to fill you in on what has happened, what is happening, and what will happen in the town of Danville. You'll be able to answer all the questions that is put forward to you every day. What is happening to our town? When you leave here this morning, you'll know exactly how to answer those questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe, and if there's time left after all these people talk, they'll stick around and answer some more questions for you. So Joseph, you ready?
Sure, yeah.
Got it.
Okay, well, good morning. If you're a morning person like me, there's nothing that gets your juices going quite like showing up somewhere at 7:30 in the morning, standing up in front of a room full of friendly faces and having the opportunity to talk about the state of the town again. So thank you all for being here. We had the opportunity to make this presentation just last week at the annual Chamber State of the Town. So I'm going to start with a little bit of audience engagement, okay? Get everybody involved this morning. We had an opportunity earlier this year with our planning commission, the town council, and all of our commissions actually, to have a discussion about Danville, and specifically, one of us had heard a speaker recently talking about the components of vibrant and successful communities and what types of things they have in common. And this kind of turned into a brainstorming exercise that was a pretty stimulating discussion. I've been here for 30 years, and I can't tell you the number of times that I've had people come up to me and say, you know, this is a great place. And I'll say, well, tell me why you think it is. And they will. And you know, I write it down on my list and put it in the file cabinet. So I'm going to ask all of you this morning to give me some ideas of, if you think that this is a great place to live, work, do business, why do you think that it is? Anybody? This is where the coffee kicks in. Don, what do you think?
Well, you know, the town is a safe town. It's clean. It's well run politically, and we've got a good police department. So a great fire department. So,
Great. Good.
Show me another town that's better.
Yeah.
Good answers. Jean, how about you?
Well, I think it's very conveniently located.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Access to beauty all around us, the mountain, the trails. It's well maintained. You're not in constant traffic grid. It's still, even though it's grown from when I moved here from 7,000 people to 43,000, it still maintains that small town atmosphere.
Yeah.
Never ever leaves this town. It's wonderful.
Others? Come on, Barbara.
That's sitting here, Joe. Every single person that's sitting here has made the same kind of contribution. They love the place and they want to keep it that way and make it that way for other people. Everybody in this room just loved dearly.
Fantastic. Yep. Joanne?
We have a lot for the kids to do. We keep kids busy.
I was just going to say it's very family friendly, from lack of crime, the great school systems, just the amenities, and you can see that with the houses that are for sale in the area and the number of young families that are trying to get into the community and be part of it.
That's great. I feel as though you've all seen the next part of my presentation. See now, this is where I bring a vintage Danville book, and the idea was that this is the prize for all of the great answers. And it was made a little bit easier for me here this morning because I see sitting in the back of the room we have a young man who's a Boy Scout. So even though he didn't give me a response, you're gonna have to bear with me here, because I'm gonna give him the book, because he's gonna. Here you go, young man.
He's just
Thank
new
you.
here
You're
from
welcome.
Texas.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Yeah,
too.
very nice.
All right, now you're gonna have to read everything that's in there, come back in 2 more months, and then there'll be a quiz.
Is there a consolation prize for the rest of the month? Oh, coffee, basically.
Yes, it's what's coming up next, okay? So this kind of takes me right into why we think Danville is a great place to live and do business. And what you're gonna see is that there are your answers. I think you know, if this was a game show, you would have hit them all. We've got them all up there. We think that we are located in a place that, in terms of the environment and the history and the natural setting, is you know, unequal. It is a very safe community. The chief's going to be talking about that in a few minutes when he comes up here. Very high level of public safety. We have excellent schools and facilities that are available to the members of our community. We're proximate to technology centers, employment centers, institutions of higher education. We have a successful downtown that's an attraction for people within the sub-region and the region, and we're continuing to work on making it better. We have a lot of successful partnerships. We have partners that are in the room here this morning from the Chamber of Commerce, from Discover Danville, from the school district, from our various legislators' offices, and we work closely, Contra Costa County, we work very closely together. We have lots of local patriots, and what we mean by that is we're a community that's blessed to have a lot of people that have a lot of individual talent, and they're very altruistic. They like to give back to the community, and we take full advantage of that, and we're very fortunate to have that. And then finally, we are a community that enjoys political stability. So if you're a business that's wanting to come here, you know that you're not dealing with a situation that you deal with in some communities where the town council, city council is so busy politically infighting among themselves that they never have any time to get anything productive done. So let me talk a little bit about just some very brief demographics that I'm flashing up there on the screen, as you can see. Last week, this was off to the side so I could read it at the same time as I was looking at it. So we're the 8th largest city in Contra Costa County. Population's about 43,200. Our median age is getting a little bit older over the last couple of census. So it's not just me; it's happening to everyone. 2/3, we're a very well-educated community, so 2/3 of our resident workforce has a college degree, and almost a quarter of them have an advanced degree. Our unemployment rate is consistently lower than the state and the national average. Almost 10% of our resident workforce work out of the house, which is interesting. And then, oh yeah, that would help. Although it would be better if you'd turn it to the right page for the next one. And as of February, the average sales price for a single-family residential home in Danville is about $1.12 million. There we go. So let's talk about the role of our town government here. First of all, you know, what I would tell you is I think that our council's view is that the role of the town government here in Danville is that we're here to try to listen to our residents and our businesses and understand what our community needs are, and then to take those and translate them into service priorities that will help us deliver service to our residents and our businesses. So those include maintaining and promoting a high level of public safety. Once again, we touch on that. Maintaining a positive community appearance, well-maintained community. Development standards that we think retain the town's character and scale. Making sure that we offer a broad range of recreational and enrichment opportunities to all segments of our population. Trying to promote economic development, economic vitality and growth. Being proactive within our region, meaning that we understand that Danville is affected by things that go on well outside of our borders, and so we're very actively promoting Danville's best interest out there. And then community events and celebrations. As you know, the town of Danville has never met a special event that it doesn't embrace and enjoy celebrating for the benefit of the community. The first 5 things that are up there on the list behind me account for over 85% of the town's operating budget. So that's where we focus our attention. Now, last week I wore the blue pinstripe suit because I was talking about finance. This morning it's just the blue suit, so no pinstripes. No presentation that I make is complete if I don't talk about the town's finances, but rest assured I'm not going to get into it in a lot of detail. There are a few points that I want to make. First of all, people have asked me, our property values have now rebounded to a point where they have moved ahead where they were pre-recession. So property values, property tax revenues, and so on. This year we're operating on a budget that's a little bit over $28 million. It's a balanced budget. We look ahead and do forecasts, rolling forecasts that look ahead 10%, 10 years. Let me come back to the operating budget for a minute. Well, I said I wasn't going to throw a lot of numbers out there at you. We spend in Danville about $630 per capita for every man, woman, and child who live in Danville. And we think that's a pretty good bang for the buck. And the reason that we think that is that when we look at our other cities within this area, from Walnut Creek, say, south all the way to Livermore, those other cities are spending anywhere from $930 to $2,200 per capita to deliver municipal service. So while it's not entirely an apples to apples comparison, you know, we think that we're able to deliver service here in Danville and do it in a way that is very effective. We're AAA rated by Moody's, and we're unique from the standpoint that unlike most of the other communities throughout the state, we don't have any unfunded pension or other post-employment benefit liabilities, and that's because we're one of only 10 cities out of 482 in the state that doesn't belong to CalPERS. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to our police chief, because public safety is our top priority, and who better to talk about it this morning than the man with the blue uniform on.
You're all good to go. Thanks, sir. Well, good morning, everybody. And yes, public safety is important, but it's also my favorite topic to talk about. So anytime you'd like to sit down and talk about public safety, just let me know and I'll bore you to death for the next 10 or 12 hours. So it's a great place to work and a great place to be. This particular slide was meant for my 2 friends at the front table up here, because we got hit in the last few months with some commercial burglaries, and a bunch of our businesses downtown got hit. And the miscreants responsible for that were caught in another county, and our detectives went and spoke with them and were able to link them to the crimes here. And this particular spate has dropped off significantly. Let me restate that. They're done because we caught them. But you know, we always have to stay vigilant for the next round and the next series of folks that are going to come after. But this was important news for our business community, so I wanted to make sure that we shared that. So let me give you a brief recap of 2014. We generally categorize crime in 2 different categories, whether it's crimes against people or crimes against property, and those are the areas of most interest. And for our crimes against people, we've been holding down for quite a while. These are the crimes that are assaults and other violent type of crime. And if you think about these numbers, I'm lucky to stand here and report the total numbers for our year or what happened in a week in some other places. And we're very, very lucky. We've been at a high of about 32 different violent crimes a year, and last year we had a 17. Now, that 17 means there's still 17 different victims out there that I wish it didn't happen to, but that's a pretty small number. That's something that we're working on keeping it as low as we possibly can. Next, in regard to property crime, we were presiding over a nice long downward trend of property crime over the last 5 years. As you can see, we had over 500 incidents in 2010. We knocked that down to 411, but then it started to creep back up. And since the last, the last November or so, our crime has been going up pretty steadily in regards to property crime. And it's definitely a concern for us, but let me expand on perhaps why that's occurring. If you haven't noticed, we have a lot of great things in this community. We started this presentation this morning talking about what a wonderful place it is, and what also comes with a wonderful place is wonderful stuff. And since there's a lot of wonderful stuff in this town, I guess it's criminal economics. Are you going to go to a place where there isn't stuff to steal, or are you going to go to a place where there is things to steal? And it's a constant cat and mouse game between the police department and the bad guys, and we can always use whatever help that we can get. We tend to find that many of the property crimes that happen are the vehicles are unlocked, garage doors are left open all night long, things like that, and we're always asking for people to keep a good look out there. The other thing that I want to make sure I share with everyone is you're the experts in your communities. I noticed you've lived here since there were 7,000 people and now there's 43,000. I don't want to put an exact time on that, but that would indicate to me that you've been here for a while. But you are an expert in your community, as all of you. When you live in a community, you know what it belongs in that community, and you know what doesn't. You know when something's unusual, you know when something's different. And I ask you, and essentially beg you at this point, if you see something that's unusual or out of place, please give us a call so that we can have an officer come and take a look. If there's a person dressed in all black clothing jumping over a fence, let us be the ones to figure out if it's a kid late from school or someone breaking into the house. It's easier for us to take a look at those things, and we are very concerned about any type of call out there. And there's always this myth about, well, gee, I don't want to bug the police department because they might be busy. Please bug us. That's what we're there for. Perhaps our crowning achievement last year was we've got our accidents, traffic collisions, down to basically an all-time low. I was really hoping that we could have less than 300 accidents, but we just missed that. We had 304 last year. But to add some significance to that, we were about 550 accidents a year in the early 2000s. So that shows over the last decade or so very much an overall decline. And I'm working hard with our traffic folks to try and get that number down. And speaking of that, it is definitely a partnership with our Street Smarts program and with our engineering and transportation departments all working together, through combining the 3 E's of education, engineering, and the enforcement guys. We were able to knock those numbers down. We're very proud of that. So I'm hoping that next year, we flash forward to a year, I can come up here and say 299. And we'll see what we can do. But that's it's very important to us to try and get the number of collisions down to make your streets safer. It's something that I know you're all concerned about, and we're trying our best. What would a police chief's presentation be without mentioning a dog? I can't go anywhere without mentioning a dog. So we have a new one on our team. It's Officer Tyler Nelson and his dog Ronnie. And Ronnie is a brand new half Belgian Malinois and half German Shepherd. And they are making the rounds in the community already and making friends, and they're a great team. And if you have any type of community meeting or any business meeting, anything else, we'd be happy to have Tyler and Ronnie stop by and show themselves off. Ronnie's a bit more interesting than Tyler, but I'll explain. And then last but not least, I would encourage you on our website, every year we put together a very comprehensive report of what happened in the past year. And I would encourage you to go to our website and take a look at that. I'll pass this one around so that if anybody wants to take a look at it. But we also have it available online. And I'd like to hear your feedback. If you think there's something that we should be doing different, programs that you like, whatever it is, we're policing your community. We work for you, and we'd like to know how you'd like it policed. And if there's something different that we can do for you, please let us know. With that.
Thanks, Chief. I'm going to have to adjust the microphone down a little now. I wanted to thank the mayor really quickly for inviting me here this morning, although I think anyone who's worked with me for a while know that I'm not a morning person, to talk about economic development, one of my favorite topics. I would like to start off with talking about the fact that really economic development in town is about really supporting economic and promoting economic vitality. So what does that mean, people ask me? Well, in Danville, it really means about creating business environments that businesses can succeed and thrive in. That's really our mission. In the world of economic development, I tell people that there are many, many, many tools of the trade, but we really focus on using 5 here in Danville, primarily because they're really well suited to our small town character and scale. And our first and one of our favorites is really utilizing and leveraging all of our extraordinary business partnerships at both a local and a regional level. 2 local partners sitting up here at the front table are Danville Area Chamber of Commerce and our very enthusiastic and entrepreneurial Discover Danville Association. We also work with a lot of regional partners such as Visit Tri-Valley, which is a convention and visitors bureau. Last but not least, iGate, which is an innovation hub for all of those entrepreneurs out there with great and bright ideas. Our second tool of the trade that we use quite a bit, and in the spirit of partnerships and in collaboration with our business partners, really is about business retention. So in our minds, the town is our business community's implicit business partner. So once a business opens its doors here, we expend a lot of resources trying to keep them here and giving them the resources that it needs to survive and thrive. As an example, during the depths of the Great Recession, the town council pulled together a retail incentives program that made available over $400,000 in grant funding to help our retailers kind of go through the lean times, making these marketing and facade improvement grants available to them so they can attract and promote themselves during tough economic times. In another example, on an annual basis, the town offers a series of business development workshops, such as social media, so that our businesses can understand and learn all of the new trends and tools that are available to them to continue to promote themselves in an ever-changing market. And last example I want to point out in this area is the fact that we provide, unlike many other cities, we provide a complimentary one-on-one permitting consultation service that we call our business concierge. So if you're a new business or an existing one, feel free to come to us if you have ideas about expansion or relocation. We're always happy to help and we're always there to listen. Moving on a little bit to our really third tool of the trade, we call this business promotion. We spend a lot of effort in business promotion, but the one example that I do want to highlight for all of you is the fact that the town works quite a bit, again in partnership with our local partners here, in promoting Danville as a regional shopping and dining destination. And so the monthly advertorial that we produce in the San Ramon Valley and Contra Costa Times alone generates a readership of about 88,000, a circulation of about 35,000, and so annually that translates into over 1 million impressions a year. So that's, I believe, really very helpful. We have a lot of great feedback from our business community. Now, as an urban planner, I will tell you that this fourth tool is one of my personal favorites. As the mayor likes to quote, Danville just didn't happen, it was planned. And he's right from many perspectives. Consultant after consultant and survey after survey has told us that really many, many years or 30 plus years of very disciplined urban planning has created the very physically appealing community that we've all come to love today. And they tell us that it's important because place appeal in conjunction with shopping environments that provide that social space for human connectivity are kind of the key things that shoppers look for when they choose to engage in non-internet based commerce. So, and this kind of environment is what drives shopping in our community. And so leveraging this really key competitive advantage is one of the goals of the comprehensive economic development plan that's currently underway and will be engaging in the business community throughout the entire year. Speaking of community planning, I did want to take an opportunity this morning to talk about a few of the key projects that are happening downtown, and you will notice them as you walk around downtown. First and foremost is our Danville Hotel project, a private redevelopment project. It will add close to 35,000 square feet of residential, retail, and restaurant space into the heart of our downtown. It includes 16 for-sale condominium units on the second floor of the new buildings and 2 for-rent units on the second floor of the historic hotel itself. The developer has told me recently that they've signed 2 letters of intent with 2 restaurant users, one of which is Pizza Antica, the other is West Coast Brewery. There is a bakery that is interested in coming to the first floor of the historic hotel, and Papyrus is going to be reoccupying their corner location at Harts and Prospect. So that's just the latest news directly from the development company. Moving on to the corner of Railroad Avenue and Linda Mesa, we will start to see some activity there. This project is really 2 components. One is the restoration of the Austin Root House. Ultimately, this historic home will be shifted closer to its eastern property line. And along its western corner, you'll see essentially about a 1,400 square foot building, first floor commercial, second floor residential with its own enclosed garages. In the near future, what everyone will see is the fact that the historic home will be lifted off of its foundation, moved to the corner, while its permanent new foundation will be built closer to the eastern property line. Then you'll see it being lifted back onto its permanent foundation, and then the new building will start. So that's what's happening there. And most recently, of course, and people ask us quite a bit about this, is a proposal for an 8,000 square foot single-story retail building at the corner of Railroad Avenue and Church, directly across from Lenardi's. So a lot of new and exciting things happening in the downtown, kind of filling out that urban pattern and that walkability scale that we're all looking forward to. So speaking of community and community improvements, the last tool that I shouldn't fail to talk about is the fact that the town and the town council recognizes that community improvements, or the ongoing investment in our capital infrastructure, is really rather important to business. And it serves as the backbone for our business community. So everything from the streets, to the street lights, to the street trees, to the street furniture, to the wayfinding signs that you've seen recently installed, are all very important components and weaves into the fabric of the community itself. So with that, I'll conclude my portion of the presentation and transfer it back to Joe to talk more about community improvements.
Thanks, Ty. So yeah, let's continue right along with that theme and talk about some of the other things that we've got going on in the community right now. Right now, we have somewhere in the neighborhood of about $23 million in capital projects that are either underway or are going to be coming soon. So we continue to have a very heavy focus on the downtown and improving the downtown. We've got about $5 million worth of roadway improvement work that's going on right now. And if you haven't noticed it, then I don't know where you've been. Obviously, things are moving right along on North Harts Avenue. And you know, for those of you who have been coming to these mornings with the mayor religiously for the last couple of years, you probably can't believe that it's finally actually happening. But it is. It's very exciting. After all of the right-of-way acquisition and some of the other issues that we've had to deal with. So we've got that project going on North Harts, and also a project that is going on Railroad Avenue. Now, these projects have a couple of things in common. The Railroad Avenue project is exciting for me because it's in conjunction with the Danville Hotel. It's going to underground all of those overhead utility lines from Prospect South. And I keep asking our staff, you know, when is that going to happen? When is it going to happen? I thought they were all going to go away. PG&E did their thing, then they cut the tops off the poles and left 2/3 of them there. Now, anyway, long story short, I am told that by the middle of next month, those poles are going to be gone. And when they are, Railroad Avenue is going to look a lot different. So We're gonna have new curbs, gutters, sidewalks, decorative paving, a mid-block crosswalk that will connect the Danville Hotel project over to where the farmer's market is and the depot. Improvements that are completed along a segment of Railroad Avenue that have never had frontage improvements a little bit farther south of that. New street lights, new street trees, and so on. So Harts Avenue, Railroad Avenue, very, very exciting projects. Another question that people like to ask has to do with parking downtown. And so, you know, we're always continuously looking at how we can provide parking for our businesses downtown. Let me just ask another question. Those of you who go shop in Lafayette, Walnut Creek, Concord, Pleasanton, wherever you go, how many of those communities have free parking? Right? So Danville has free parking, and we're continuing to work on more. And a couple of exciting projects that we've got going on right now. Over the past few months, the town has been able to acquire a couple of properties over on Rose Street on the north side of East Linda Mesa. So we're in the process right now of beginning to work on designing a parking facility. Facility means that it's going to involve more than one level. And we're looking to add about somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 additional parking spaces on that property that will serve the north end of the downtown, say north of Diablo Road. Another exciting opportunity that has come along in the form of our partnership with the San Ramon Valley Unified School District is the school district is now looking at the design and construction of their new classroom building, the modernization project on the San Ramon Valley High School campus. That campus has been chronically short of parking for many, many years. And there's an opportunity to, as part of this project, to increase the supply of parking on the campus, student parking on the campus. So we're working together to look and see if there might be an opportunity to add another 200 or more spaces on that campus, which would be about a 75% increase in student parking spaces. So 2 projects up at the north end of the downtown that have the potential to add 400 parking spaces would certainly alleviate some of the congestion that we're experiencing. Okay, in terms of what our transportation folks like to refer to as mobility, moving people and traffic through town. A few things to mention. First, the San Ramon Valley Boulevard widening project that has been going on south of Jewel Terrace for some time is now back and moving forward full speed, so that we're optimistic that by the end of this summer, we're going to have essentially 4 lanes on San Ramon Valley Boulevard from the town limits all the way up to Railroad Avenue. We are also going to be doing the second phase of our Camino Tasajara overlay work this summer. 2 summers ago, we overlaid the eastbound lanes all the way out to the town limits. This summer, we'll be overlaying the westbound lanes coming back in the other direction. We're phasing the work so that to the extent that we can, we get all that work done during the summer months when we don't have school traffic going in both directions out there. We have an ongoing pavement management program, which is our way of saying, going out and taking care of all of our residential streets in town. This year we're going to be overlaying or treating about 70 different residential streets. The whole idea is that we need to maintain our pavement at a certain overall condition, which is referred to as a pavement condition index. We have to maintain a minimum of 70. We're at about 73, so our streets are in pretty good shape, but it requires a significant ongoing capital investment to do that. And then lastly, I'll mention that there is a partnership of the Metropolitan Transportation Commission and Caltrans that are working on the I-680 Express Lanes project, which will be, simply stated, converting the current high occupancy vehicle lane on I-680 that runs through the San Ramon Valley to an express lane, meaning that you're going to be able to use your fast track, pay a toll to use the lane, and they're going to control that with what they refer to as congestion pricing. Right? So that means that the more congestion there is, the more you're going to pay to use it. We've got some things happening coming up this summer at various parks that are certainly worth mentioning. The much anticipated expansion of the bocce ball courts at Sycamore Valley Park. You know, we built 4 courts several years ago, and we've just not been able to keep up with the demand for the use of those courts. So we have a project coming this summer that will double the number from 4 to 8. That's about a $1.2 million project, very exciting. At Osage Station, we're going to be redoing the children's play area and the picnic area that are next to it. So that's about $1.5 million project. We're going to wait until the fall to start that to get through the heaviest use of the summer months. We also have coming in the fall, or later this year I should say, some improvements that are going to be coming at the Danville Library. Believe it or not, our new library is 20 years old, so we're going to be going back in and making some changes and improvements to the restrooms, freshening up some of the furnishings, the lighting, changing out some of the HVAC systems. So look for that to come. The library will be closed for a couple of weeks while all of that work is ongoing. And then finally at Diablo Vista Park, out on the east side of town, it's time to once again recarpet the artificial turf field out there. So we'll be doing that at the end of this year. Synthetic turf is great because it doesn't require water or other types of maintenance. It's not so great because it doesn't last as long as the manufacturers would have you believe. So every 8 or 9 years you've got to go out and recarpet just like you would your living room. And that requires you to shut things down for about 6 weeks, and we'll be doing that at the end of the year. Some other things that are coming that are of interest. We are right in the midst right now of rolling out our new solid waste and recycling franchise. So we belong to a joint powers authority. Danville does with 5 other agencies. We've just entered into a new 10-year franchise. So it's good news from the standpoint that we're going to be able to offer some enhanced recycling of services, improving on the organics. You'll be able to put your food waste into your green waste containers, improve solid waste services with the goal of achieving a 75% reduction in the amount of solid waste that's going into our landfills by the year 2020. We're at about 63% right now. So the new carts are in the process of being rolled out to various neighborhoods throughout the community. To the extent that we run into a glitch or two along the way, we, Republic Services and the Solid Waste Authority, ask for your patience in that regard. But the rollout is moving right along, and we expect that to be completed by June. In terms of the drought, we're continuing to work very hard to manage through the drought. Danville, if we go back to 2012, we have managed to reduce our water usage by about 20%. Now we're being told that we're going to have to reduce it by 20 to 25% going back to 2013. So it's a very delicate balancing act because we have a town-wide lighting and landscape assessment district. We have an expectation from our property owners that the plant material that they're paying for is going to be kept alive and thriving. And we're being told that we need to significantly scale back the amount of water that we're using. So, you know, we're trying to save water and sustain plant material at the same time. And we're doing that by deferring new landscaping, increasing the mow height of turf in some areas. We're looking at shutting down some of the water features and you know, using our computerized central irrigation control system to try to dial this in and manage that as well as we possibly can. A few other things that we've got going on from a sustainability perspective that I want to mention. First of all, we have solar arrays that are now up and operational at 4 different sites. So our town offices, our town service center, and 2 of our parks. Those solar arrays are now excuse me, they're now producing 100% of the energy that we need to power and operate those 4 sites. And those are saving the town about $200,000 a year in terms of what we would otherwise be paying PG&E. We have installed some new electric vehicle charging stations over at the Railroad Avenue Municipal Parking Lot. Couple more to come. Did I say Railroad Avenue? I meant the clock tower. We've got a couple more to come on Railroad Avenue in conjunction with the improvement project that we're doing over there, so look for those later this summer. By the coming fiscal year 15-16, a third of the town's vehicle fleet is going to be either electric vehicle or hybrid vehicle. So that's a pretty significant number. If I could figure out a way to get the guy in the blue uniform to use electric vehicles or hybrids in his emergency response vehicles, I could do a lot better than that. But we'll figure that out next year. We have a plastic bag ban that will be going into effect. The town, working with the chamber and the business community, at the end of last year passed an ordinance that will ban all single-use carry-out plastic bags for retail and restaurant establishments. That's being phased in with an effective date of July 1 of 2016. So there's still another year or more to go to phase that in. And we're continuing to look at ways that we can improve our service through technology. So for those of you who carry one of these things around in your pocket or in your purse, we have our Danville Connect app that it can be downloaded onto iPhone or Android. And I think in terms of internal and external calls for service and work orders, we're getting about 300 a month. So, if you send us something on the app, you're going to get a response back from someone within 24 hours that will respond to what you're telling us and let you know how to track that. We've upgraded our town website so that it is now more adaptable to mobile platforms, which is what the majority of our users want to be able to access. And we're continuing our outreach efforts through a variety of other tools that I can rattle off for you, but which I have no idea what they look like or how they're used. So there are things like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Yelp, Open Town Hall, and Nixle. Now, I'm exaggerating a little bit. I know how to use some of those, but not all. And as the chief did, I would invite you all to visit our town website, www.danville.ca.gov. We have a newsletter on there. The Danville Today that we used to mail to folks in their mailboxes is now online. It's updated, refreshed every week. So it's a constant source of information about what's going on with your town. We have our 2014 annual report for the town on there. And of course, we also have a representative, one of our town council members, who's out at the farmer's market each and every Saturday between 9 and 11. So if you're the type of person who prefers your contact to come face-to-face and not electronically, you have the opportunity to do that. So I want to thank everyone very much for your attention, and I'm going to turn things back over to Mayor Mike.
Thank you, Joe, Ty, and the Chief. No wonder I call the town Camelot. This is gorgeous. There's no other place in the world like it. I'd be amiss before we adjourn if I did not thank Shelby McIntyre, who is leaving me, or leaving us, end of August. And I know her husband Vince will be very happy, but we in Danville will never be able to thank her for all the work she's done with her economic development downtown and working with our town staff and all the residents of town. Oh, Shelby, a great big hand of applause. And if you join me, thank you very, very much. I personally know you very, very much, Shelby. You've done one fantastic job. And Marcia, you always do a good job. Once again, thank you all for coming. And I'd also be amiss if I didn't say this is a happy birthday to our Assemblywoman Catherine Baker, who's celebrating her birthday today, and also our youngest son. So once again, thank you everybody. God bless you and God bless America. Thank you.